Hello guys, this is me, VishnuRam. I'm here today with a poem from our English textbook for class 11, The Hornbill. Today, the poem I'm going to discuss with you guys is a photograph written by Shirley Tolson. Before getting into the chapter, I would like to tell something about the author, the poet, Shirley Tolson. Guys, this is Shirley Tolson, born in 1924 in England. She was a well-known poet and a travelogue writer and a journalist. The prescribed poem, a photograph, is an autobiographic poem written about her own memories, which can be noted as one of the best poems written by Shirley Tolson. The poem, a photograph, is a tribute to the poet's mother. 3 stages of lifespan is actually focused in this poem, discussed in this poem. The first stage is poet's mother enjoying a sea holiday with her cousins. Second stage discussed here is about 20 to 30 years later, that particular incident, which is the holiday trip to seaside. And the third stage is about memories of the poet's mother. Poet remembers her mother after her death with a heavy heart. Let's get into the lines of the poetry. A photograph.
The cardboard shows me how it was when the 2 girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands, and she, the big girl, some 12 years or so.
In these lines, the poet is looking to a cardboard framed photograph. In the photograph, there are 3 girls who are holding each other's hands and walking on a beach. The middle one is the oldest and tallest one, which is the poet's mother. They were on a seaside holiday, and the photograph is taken when she was almost 12 years old. Not the poet, the poet's mother, when she was 12 years old.
All 3 stood still to smile through their hair at the angle with the camera. A sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born, and the sea, which appears to have changed less, was their terribly transient feet.
These lines describes how the photograph was taken. Who took the photograph? Mother's uncle, the poet's mother's uncle took the photograph when he told to pause. All the 3 young girls paused for the photograph with loosened wet hair, and they smiled at the camera. But poet's attention, it gets focused on the mother's face, and she calls as a sweet face. Of course, everyone's mother's face are really sweetest. So here, the poet Shirley Tolson calls her mother's face as a sweet face, and she talks about something really interesting, where she mentioned it as terrible transient feet. So, feet, terrible transient. So it says that when the photograph was taken, all those girls, all the 3 girls were younger, their feet was so small, and as they grow up, their feet actually was in a in a travel, in a journey of change. They have grown up, but the sea that washed their feet, the sea that touched, the waves that touched their feet, It never changed a little bit. The same now also.
Some 20-30 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. See Betty and Dolly, she would say, and look how they dressed us for the beach.
We already told that particular photograph was taken when poet's mother was almost 12 years old. And after 20 to 30 years, or 20 to 30 years later, when already poet is there, okay, poet already born. When poet is there, these lines are about the memories of poet, about her mother. She says that when she looks at, means when poet's mother, when she look at the photograph, she laughs. Of course, we know these things. Think about it. We have our photograph taken maybe like 10 years back. We look at that particular photograph, the dressing style, our own face, how it has changed. We will often laugh. So, just like that, the poet's mother, she used to laugh at the photograph. Not laughing at the photograph, just looking at the photograph and laugh. For the reason how they are dressed up for the beach. And she'll often say, look at Betty and Dolly, how they are dressed up for the beach. So Betty and Dolly are her cousins, poet's mother's cousins. So who were like Betty, Dolly and poet's mother counts the three girls who were present in that photograph framed in cardboard.
The sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter. Both ride with the labored ease of loss.
The poet recalls her mother's favorite event, favorite memory from the past was the seaside holiday. Yeah, that's it. And herself, the poet, her favorite memory from the past was her mother's laughter. So both the women, they think about their past, about their favorite moment, favorite things in the past, in their memories. But they understand those were in the past. It can't be regained. But of course, they adjust with what they have in the present.
Now she's been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived, and of this circumstance, there is nothing to say at all. Its silence silences.
Guys, in these last lines of the poetry, the poet Shirley Tolson says it's been 12 long years after the death of her mother. Again, 12 years. At the same age of her mother when the photograph was taken. She feels nothing. Like she don't know how to express what kind of effect was there on her mother's death over her. She can't actually express that. That's why she says that it's all silence. That death of her mother silenced the laughter of her mother. And the same thing made her speechless. Made the poet speechless. Guys, I hope you gone through the chapter, gone through the poem. Now I'm going to tell you a quick summary of the poetry. A photograph. A photograph, the poem, discuss about the poet's mother and her memories. It can be noted as poet's tribute to her mother. It starts with a description of a photograph which was taken when poet's mother was almost 12 years old, when she went on a holiday to a beach for paddling with her cousins Betty and Dolly, and the photograph was taken by her uncle. I mean, the poet's mother's uncle. That particular photograph, later, after 20 to 30 years later, that particular photograph made the mother of poet laugh a lot. She used to laugh. Looking at that particular photograph, she used to laugh and say that how they are dressed up, and that was a favorite memory. And as a child, as the child of that particular mother, the poet had the favorite memory as mother's laugh. She loved the mother's laugh. And later, after almost 12 years after the death of the mother, poet felt that much empty. The heart is that much empty. Because she could not express how much grief she is having in the absence of her mother. It says that the death of her mother silenced her laughter, and without the laughter, the poet is speechless. Guys, now we will discuss about the literary devices used in this poem.
Children, just look at those underlined portions in the poem. Stood still. The consonant sound S is repeated at the beginning of stood and still. Where through there, the consonant sound Th is repeated. Again, my mother. M is repeated in my and mother. T is repeated, the consonant sound T is repeated in terribly and transient. Again, at the bottom, the consonant sound S is repeated in silence and silences. So, repetition of a consonant sound at the beginning of two or more consecutive words, we can call it as application of alliteration. So, these are the instances where we can find alliteration in the poem. After alliteration, we have something in this poem called as oxymorons. Oxymoron is pairing of two words together that are contradictory. Simple, two opposite words are clubbed together. For example, clearly confused, act naturally, only choice, original copy, and growing smaller. A lot of examples. And in this poem, we have labored ease as an instance of usage of oxymoron. The word labor and ease, they are contradictory, but they are used together as an oxymoron. Now we have something called as epithet. What is an epithet? Okay, epithet is an adjective or phrase expressing a quality of the person or thing mentioned. Here in this poem, we have terribly transient feet. So, terribly transient can be noted as an epithet.
Hope you all enjoyed the lesson, the poetry, a photograph written by Shirley Tolson. Keep reading the poem, keep reading other poems also, of course, and stay tuned for the next chapter. Till then, it's a bye from VishnuRam. Take care.